Hello everyone, it's Fusion, and today I am doing a tutorial on BadTV. Now, this module is an extreme module, which means it is very difficult, and it has gone almost 3 years without a tutorial. Now, the reason I have another module here is not because this is a boss module, but it has some quirks. First is a pseudo-needy, which means that it will constantly be an interruption throughout the bomb, and it has instant death, which means that the module can instantly explode the bomb. Or at least that's in usual cases. Instead, this module has a life system. When you lose a life, you don't get a strike or anything, but it just subtracts 1 from your life count. And once you run out of lives, the module will... I don't even know how to describe this. It will take a hand, it will grab at you, start glitching the game, and then close out of the entire game. It actually mentions this in the clarified menu. If you run out of lives, literally the entire game will forcibly exit. But don't worry, when the losing animation starts, you do have enough time to go to the office to avoid having to reopen the game and go through all of that. Anyways, this is the module. It's inspired by WarioWare, if you know what that is. If you don't know what it is, it basically consists of micro games, which are small mini games where you have to do something simple, and it gives you a prompt. I don't know much about it either, so like, I don't know. But basically, we will have to do one of these mini games. There could be repeats, it doesn't matter. And then there's also a boss stage, which I'll get to later. Now, the number of stages can depend on a few factors. If you solve other modules on the bomb, it will reduce the number of stages. If this is the only module on the bomb, you will always have 10 stages, and it will also activate immediately. If you have another not-your module, it will just or it won't activate instantly, but it will activate on the first solved module, rather. You will also get an extra life for every 15 other modules on the bomb. You start at 4, but if you have 15 other modules, you have 5, 30, you get 6, etc. But because I only have 1 module here, I will get 4 lives. Now, and also, if you try to have too many other simple modules like the Simpleton or Tool mods, the module will notice that you're trying to get more lives, and it will generate a lot of more stages no matter how many you draw. Anyways, these are pretty self-explanatory. I'll try to explain them as I get them because it'll make more sense, and I'm going to be highlighting these in the manual just so I know which ones I missed so I can cover those again. And then there's the boss stage. Once you have completed the necessary number of stages, it will go into a boss stage, where basically you'll be in a boss fight. These are all of the different attacks. I'll probably get all of these attacks once I get to the boss stage, so I won't have to worry about doing that again. There's a clarified manual, which just kind of gives more information, but I'll try to explain them here. Now, these are the controls. They are 4 arrows and a center button. You could use these buttons if you want to die and have your game crash. So instead, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard for the necessary arrow button, and the space bar for the center button. And those are pretty much all of the controls you need. In fact, the manual says it is essential. Now, I guess we can just start now. And this is what it looks like once you solve another module on the bomb. And here we go. Notice how we have 4 lives. This is follow. So we have to press the arrow button, like so. You can also maybe press the center button. But if an arrow is hollow, you actually press the button in the opposite direction. Now center, you'll never get a hollow center, obviously that just doesn't make sense. In this case, we press left, down, space, up, down. And after you press certain buttons, it will finish. And there will be an image that shows to show that you completed the game. I'll mark this so I know I did. Now, if there were other models here, I would go solve them, but because I don't, I'll just sit here and wait, I guess. Now, alright, this is collect. This is the colorful and select edition. So basically, we have to collect these treasures. But if you look, there are these enemy things, I don't know what they're called, but they'll try to attack, and you cannot get hit by a laser or anything. Once you have collected enough, it'll say gold, and you'll be done. Now, note that this module will have 2 instances of speed-ups, where it says speed up, and everything will get slightly faster. And then you'll have the boss eventually later. Okay, in this case we have the follow minigame again, so I'll just say the arrows down, right, left, up, center, left, right, center, or space, left, down, 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 and that's it. There is another image that can appear here, but I got the same one. I think this could actually be a reference to the flavor text. It's... I don't know, you can read it if you want, I don't know, I'm not going to read all of it right now. So yeah, if I had other modules here, I would go try to solve them, to minimize the stage. But this is the last module, so it doesn't matter. Now this is the speed up I was talking about. So things will go a bit faster. This is a pretty self-explanatory one, just like most of them. You just count the number of critters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It can be between 15 and 30, and I usually like to check once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes. And, like, there's no submit button, you just have to wait until the time runs out. And... yeah. Also, this will indicate that the minigame is almost over. It will also show 3, 2, 1. Mash, this one's a pretty simple one. You just mash the arrow keys. And you're carving a sculpture, apparently. And then finish by pressing the center button. Boom. And we've carved the sculpture. This one is one of the minigames that you cannot lose a life on. Unless you run out of time. Because you'll always lose a life if you run out of time without completing the minigame. But in this case, we are fine. Alright. Also, that was the bamboozling timekeeper last sound, if you heard that. But anyways, okay, eat. This one is not fun. You basically have to collect the dice in ascending order, without going out of order, without hitting yourself, and without hitting the edge. Like, oh my gosh, it's very difficult, especially when it's sped up. In that case, I just do it. But yeah, that one is not fun, especially when it's sped up. I really hope I don't hit that one again. Because if I lose even just one life, I may have to reboot this whole tutorial. But currently I have 4 lives. This is our second speed up. Things will get even faster. Oh, great. Another one. I don't know how I did that. But anyways, we have a different image. We have opposite sides, we have sides that have 7 that are not opposite, but whatever. So yeah, now I would solve it in modules, but in this case, I just get to wait. I'll definitely need to load up another attempt with some of these other minions. Alright, we have the collecting one again. This one, you kind of have to be careful when it's sped up. Just really pay attention to the lasers, or whatever. You can also touch them after they have shot, you just can't get shot by them directly, because then you'll lose. You'll play a sound, and you'll lose a life. Alright, whack-a-mole. So, you basically have to avoid whacking, you want to get to above the target score on the left, but you don't want to whack the type that is, present at the top of the module. Okay, this is the one at the top right, by the way. In case you don't know what the shogun looks like. That's probably the most confusing, or like, I don't know. Most of the others are quite self-explanatory, like a pirate has a pirate hat, Jester has a Jester hat, I don't know. Alright. This is the boss stage. Things will get very chaotic. Basically, you move with the arrow keys, except the down arrow. You can double jump and you hold the spacebar to shoot. Because you're shooting it. You pretty much just hold the spacebar the whole time. Just really knows enough to. This attack, it'll just kind of chase towards you. I'm trying to face it so that I can shoot it as much. Okay, that one's where it jumps. This is one where it just throws bombs up in the air. Whoa! Oh, I don't know how I didn't select it. This one is where it bounces. You can kind of tell which attack it's going to be by, like, how it signifies it. You can get once you do it more often. This one is where it'll teleport to the other side, so you'll have to be quick. Once you see it put its arm back, you know you just have to jump. Like, yeah. There's also no way to see the boss's health, but once its health, the more its health goes down, attacks will get faster. And note, that is one, this is a DVD screensaver, and you also just saw one where it throws a large bomb up in the air. The large bomb, it can throw one or two, and it will appear during another attack just to make it even harder. Okay. Oh. Ideally, you want to make sure you're always facing the boss, but I almost just lost a few lives with it. Oh, okay. This one, you cannot shoot the boss. There will be 3 nukes. You'll have to jump over them, avoiding any of the bombs. And then, you have to double jump up. Oh, I missed it. But yeah, the boss will teleport to where you are, so you just kind of have to double jump and move out of the way, but in that case, I was not good enough. Oh, great, we have another one. Oh, I lost another life. Yeah, even I'm not perfect at this. Okay, in that case I didn't. I'm just going to keep pointing the gun at it, so that it keeps losing its status, or health. I think it's called status in the manual. Okay, that one I did up to 4 times. Or it did 4 times, I should say. I think it can do it up to 4 times. Whoa, that was quick. See how it gets faster? Oh no. Oh yeah, if it hits the wall fast enough, bombs will drop. That's just, as a little bonus. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I have 2 or 1 lives left. You can see it at the top, it does update, but I'm not going to zoom out. Because that would be a very bad idea. Okay. Oh, I did it. Okay. So once you defeat the boss, this will happen. And then, yeah, I don't even know. And then, I'll play this sound, I'll turn off, and this will indicate that you have solved the module. And it will still be rotated like this. Flexible is very weird. Yeah. And these buttons will also not function. Now, I still have a lot of more minigames to cover, so I'll just do another attempt. How fun! Oh, I lost a life. I guess I could show what happens when you lose a life. You probably won't go to the boss again, just because that'll be extra, but once you lose a life, it will still, you still get the time to wait for the minigame to be over. So I could still solve other modules if I have them. But I missed this up. So you'll see, it will play like a kind of sad sound effect, like it's like, oh no, you lost your life, and then it will remove it from here. So let's do a little bit. Alright, this is a new one. This is also one where you cannot lose your life on unless you run out of time. Basically, you have to move these crates onto these pallets, so that the same type of crate is in each stack. And you cannot move a crate to a stack with 3. They'll just play its sound effects if you try to do that. You may need to stop arranging one stack if it doesn't work. You just kind of have to move them around. Just kind of play around with them until you find a way to get all of them. And yeah, this will say a message, random message. In this case, it told me that I stacked faster quick. Okay, this is speed up, which means it's one of two. It'll get faster. The speed ups may not always be in the same position. Like in this case, it's like positions 3 and 6 will be the speed up, or after minigame 3 and 6, so technically 4 and 7, and then 9 for number 10 it's the lost. However, if you have other modules and solve them, they will occur at different positions. So I have 4 more games. You have one where you have to snipe someone that is even my target, one that you have to defeat and play very close attention by these buttons, one where you have to match lights, and one you have to identify a silhouette. Although, you should switch up. Alright, this is the silhouette one. You basically use the arrow keys to rotate the shape. In this case, we have like a torus. It's a torus. It could be like a donut or a ring. After some time, it will show a bunch of options as to what it could be. In this case, it's a donut. So you basically use the arrow keys to move around in the grid, and then press the space bar to submit. And a clap if you got it. So this is a donut. Usually it'll be pretty clear on what it is. If you aren't exactly sure, you can look at the options and find some encyclopedias. Alright, this one you have to concentrate, because it will show a key that you have to press. Any of these 5. And you have to wait. You have to press it as fast as possible, because if you don't, then you won't. But in this case I hit it fast enough, so in battle there are no victors. It would say dead if you don't do it. Okay, this is the whack-a-mole game. I guess I could show more gameplay of this. If you're not watching Vikings, those are the ones on the sides. We have only Vikings that heard it. Always pay attention to when it changes, because it can change very suddenly. And if you accidentally whack the wrong type, it will play an alert sound effect, and you'll be done. Alright, this is the sniping game. So you're basically given a target. It can be a hat, it can be a type of glasses or an eyes, or it can be like a vest. Basically, you have to find one using the code, and in this case, it is this one. So we have to get rid of this one, and if everyone runs away and there's no one else that appears, then that means you shot the correct person, and then the person will make you either rip and death code. Although it's kind of but whatever. And then our final game is match. I'll cut back to when I get this many. Here's another example of the silhouette game. I know I didn't practice this, but whatever. There's another example on what it can show. This is an hourglass. It's pretty clear on what it is. So we just wait, and as you can see, we have hourglass in here, and just cut it. I just wanted to show another example of the silhouette. Alright, here we go. So this works like the Need Lights Out, where once you toggle the square with the spacebar, it will toggle the state of the lights or toggling adjacent to it, which is adjacent to that is. Now you have to make this configuration match the one here. Now I recommend learning the solving steps on this lights out manual. If you want to toggle a corner, you toggle it and these squares, and you can with this and rotate it. The edge is the one's opposite like this, and the center is the ones like the center and the center. So in this case I have to toggle these corners like that. And then it will show one of I think 3 images, I could be wrong. I don't know. I won't continue showing more since I've covered everything, I think. I hope. But anyways, that was BadTV. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. Bye.